So this one is a question about sequence, and then it's a little bit strange. They tell you the sum of first n term instead of telling you the n term. So they are talking about sum of first n term versus the n term. Don't mix up these two. And then they give you the formula is this one. Which of the following are true? Before we start, whenever we think about sequence, then you have to ask yourself, is that AS or GS or some other sequence that we didn't learn any formula. In this case, you can't simply say it's AS or GS because this is not the n term, and then you need to have more investigation before you make the decision. So what we know is S1, and we can find out S2. Let's test these two values first. Okay, the first term is equal to 5. S1, you may also think it is T1 because only one term is involved. So the first term is 5. After that, if we talk about S2, in your mind, you should remind yourself this is the first term plus the second term, but not only the second one. So this is 6 and then bracket 2 square and then minus 2. You will get 22. So if you think carefully, which means that two terms together give you 22. So if you are talking about T2, then you use T1 plus T2 and then minus T1. Remove the unwanted part, then you can get T2. The first two is 22 and then minus 5. The second term is 17. It is 17. So if we look at the first two statements, 22 is a term of sequence. Wrong. 22 is equal to the first term plus the second. And if we talk about the second term, it's just 17. So the first statement is wrong. Second, the first term of the sequence is 5. Yes, it's correct. It's because if we just consider S1, then only one term is involved, which is the first term, 5. So the second statement is correct. The first statement, is this sequence a geometric sequence? That's a very big problem that we don't know what is the term function. It's difficult for us to make any decision. So in order to understand this sequence, instead of Sn, what we want is the n term. What we want is n term instead. And the method to calculate Tn is the same method as T2. We just exclude all the previous term in front of it. So our target is add them together until the n term, but we want to exclude all the term in front. We want to exclude this part. So we minus it. In short, that means the first row, it is Sn, the sum of first n term. The second row, it is Sn minus 1. This is what we want to calculate. So that's why Tn is equal to 6n squared minus n. And then minus, we use this law, this one. It's 6 bracket something square minus something, n minus 1. Handle this part very carefully. So we get 12n minus 7. If we look at this expression, whenever n increased by 1, we will get extra 12. So this is AS. This is a metric sequence with common difference 12. It's not GS, it's AS instead. So that's why this is wrong. And only statements 2 is our correct answer.